believe it? My hair is dry. So lately when I film, I'm like in the middle of drying my hair, but then I can't get to the rest of what I'm filming. So you guys get like the one wet hair video. And today, excuse me, I have got nice dryish, well, still a little damp, but it's mostly dry. Sorry, I heard somebody burrowing in the corner. I don't know why I'm doing it like this. I think it's because she's trying to sleep and I don't want to wake her up. But I'm loud and she's used to it and it's gonna happen anyway. So, okay, today's video I've been sitting on for a little bit. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I've been kind of wanting to talk about men and women and how both can be stupid and to quit it. And I just been kind of contemplating, you know, doing maybe some videos, and I saw this perfect video, an opportunity for me to do this. So, let me explain what I'm talking about. I'm perusing the internet, right? I'm having a day where I'm not feeling well. It happens with me. So I'm perusing around because YouTube and Netflix are my friends, and I happened to see this interview with Wendy Williams and Dr. Drew. I know, I was watching Wendy Williams. It's one of my every so often guilty basic bitch pleasures. I have mixed feelings about Wendy Williams. There's some stuff that I'm like, okay, I can understand, I can appreciate your hustle, but then like when she makes fun of people being fat and their bodies, I'm like, I don't know, I ain't into that. I ain't into that for many reasons, because you could be making fun of somebody's health, in my opinion. I'm not saying you can't do that, it's just not what I prefer. Translation, the comments, Joy said you can't have a make fun of bias, and one time she said that, it doesn't hypocrite. Because that's what happened. Like, I can predict what I say and the mental craziness that will trigger from some of my commenters. I love my commenters though. To all of you who are really nice to me, hey loves, hey, Bailey, aka me, what's up? It's an inside joke I might talk about in a little bit. Eric, what's going on, Eric? Eric's always really nice to me. There are several in there that are nice to me as well. I'll have to like shout out more people. I'll have to shout more y'all out, but then like, it's fun. The crazies don't realize like y'all pay my bills. The crazies in my comments, and I appreciate it. Like shoot, I got videos up to like 500 comments because y'all. Thank you. Like I feel like I should thank them because they're up in my algorithm game. So thank you guys. And I like it. They'll be like, she thinks we're paying her bills, but we use ad blocker, so she doesn't get 0.001% petty. No, but every time you do these multiple comments, you elevate the status of the video and all these multiple thumbs down. So I always appreciate it. Like, no hate, no shame. I appreciate it. So anyways, I promise I will get to the point. I'm getting there. So this video, they are talking about all kinds of stuff. They go through several things, but there was one thing I thought that was really interesting that I have a bone to pick with. I don't understand. What we're going to be talking about is not something I experience in my current state because of my current state. I'm a lot bigger. as the crazies love to point out in my comment section. I love it. It's just like, you are fat. Oh, God, I fucking didn't notice. It's not like I've been talking about my health. Thank you so much. But okay, Wendy Williams. So she's talking to Dr. Drew. They're talking about relationships. Now, I have a clip, and I'm going to play the whole clip, even though there's only really a part of it I want to focus on, because I want you guys to get the full context of what they're talking about. So they're talking about, which I really don't care about. So understand, I don't really care about celebrity culture. Like when I was younger, I liked to, like we're talking like 10, 15 years ago. How old am I? How old am I? Am I 34? I'm gonna be 35, so we're talking like 15 years ago. You know, 15 years ago when I was younger, right? Like 15, 20, 25 years ago. You know, I would keep up with certain things. Like in my mind, I kind of like to study these people and see what they were going through and what was going on. But I'm old now, like I'm 34, I don't really care. But they're talking about Ariana Grande and Pete something. Is it Davidson? Pete somethingson, I think. Apparently, they were in a relationship and they broke up. That's it. No, there's more. Some rapper died a while ago that she dated, but not too long ago, and then the Pete thing, and then they broke up. That's what, That's what they're talking about. They talk about several other things, but that doesn't matter. I want to focus on this one. So I want to play this clip, and then I want to give my thoughts on the part that I want to talk about. So without further ado, take it away, Wendy Williams. Please do not demonetize me for this YouTube, and please don't copyright strike me, Wendy Williams. Please, please, please. I actually enjoy watching you sometimes. Please don't do that. Okay, anyway, here we go.
People are concerned for Ariana, but no one's thinking about Pete. You say who?
I say Pete, and by the way, the pig too, right? I mean, there's a pig they had. You got to remember that. Piggly Wiggly or something.
They did buy a pig.
Yeah, they bought a pig, and I think Ariana's got the pig. But Pete has talked about his substance use. He's talked about a history of depression. Depression is about.
Just have to chime in every few seconds. I am using this clip for fair use. Thank you.
About 50-60% probability of recurring. You add a stress like this, and by the way, it seemed like he was like making plans for his entire life, right? He very
Doctor,
publicly.
they met in April, they got engaged in May.
And I heard him on Stern going on about, really the next 30 years in his mind, how it was going to go. And then to have that completely shattered, he has got to be depressed. He's got to be using substances to manage that, and he can get into real trouble. I'm concerned about the guy. I hope he does okay.
Another reminder, in case anybody from Wendy Williams gets a hold of this video, I am using this for fair use. This is transformative. Please and thank you.
Right? No?
Well, I hope he does okay, but I never bought into it that he was that into her. I was thinking that he was just trying to elevate his hotness in Hollywood, so when he dumps her, then he can move on to the next starlet.
That is very sad.
Well, this is a sad place. Welcome to the show.
Well, Hollywood's a sad place, but this is a happy place. But yeah, right? I think.
Another reminder, in case anybody from Wendy Williams gets a hold of this video, I am using this for fair use. This is transformative. Please and thank you.
He was really into her. I really do. And I think in his mind, he was thinking, this is as good as it gets for me. Where am I going from here? And that literally is true. And so now he's got to sort of reassess how his life's going to go from that.
So, but she was only broken up with Mac Miller.
I don't know. He died.
Well, he died.
Yes. I mean,
but
it's terrible.
he died in September. Last month.
Yep.
I made a mistake.
Hi, batch. Miss Williams, please understand I'm using this for fair use, and I'm just cutting in here to say that. Please and thank you. Enjoy.
Mistake the other day. He died in September, but they were already broken up.
Yep.
But she monkey bars from one relationship to the next.
Right, and she is sort of what you call, one way of conceiving of that is love addiction, right? Where you can't be alone, you have to be involved in a relationship. They're very intense relationships that develop all of a sudden out of nowhere, right? That's her, right? And that's not unusual for millennials these days.
All right, Wendy, you know the drill. I'm just trying to let people know and your bots know if y'all come at this video. This is for fair motherfucking use. I am fair using this. Thanks.
We used to get these calls on Loveline all the time where particularly the males would get into this pattern where they would call and go, well, I met this girl, she's the love of my life, and she wasn't so into dating me back then, but I became her friend and I've been washing her car and cleaning her carpets for the last 3 years. And then they would go, and now it's time. I go, it's time for what? Well, it's time for her to be my girlfriend. It's time for her to step up.
Okay, I know you're getting tired of it. I have to, just to make sure it's monetized. Fair use. I am transforming this clip to talk about other crap. Thanks.
Like, dude, you've been stalking this girl for 3 years. That is stalking behavior. That is what that is. And that's because, Wendy, because of social media and pornography and even the fear that men have of being seen.
Tell us that age group of millennials, just so that I'm sure I'm not a part.
Well, you're not. You're not.
Go ahead.
You just missed it. Well, it moves around. It's a moving target. I mean, we're really talking.
Fair use, it's fair use. I'm using this clip for fucking fair use.
25 to 32 right now, so
right.
Sort of that 23 to 32.
Well, stop being so addicted to love. Love yourself.
Well, but the problem is, you're right, but the problem is a lot of them weren't experiencing the normal milestones of having relationships and breaking up that normally happens during adolescence because of social media and men were hiding out with pornography and things. And so when they do get to a relationship in their young adulthood, they stick. They get, it's a sort of all-in kind of experience rather than usual sort of navigation.
Yes, bitch, yes, thank you, Wendy Williams. Love it, love it. So let me go ahead and focus on the parts of the clip that I really wanted to focus on, and that is about men being stalkerish. Now, I can already hear people going off in the comments, so I want to make sure and say, not all men are stalkers. I feel stupid that I have to say these things in disclaimers. And even if I give them, people are going to take this 10,000 different ways. But not all men are stalkers. Not all men do what Dr. Drew was talking about. But I'll tell you, I've had enough men in my life do these certain sets of behaviors that I feel like it's become like a cultural norm for certain things to be okay, that when you break it down are actually really creepy. And by the way, I also understand women can do these things too. I'm not saying only men do them. In fact, I have a story about a woman who did kind of similar things to this. I think the breakdown that people don't understand, and that I feel, I feel like sometimes that is missed in society when we're talking about this stuff, especially with the MGTOWs, is that there was a comedian that summed up what I want to say beautifully. He said, you know, I always hear men talk about these stories about their crazy exes, their crazy fucking exes, crazy female exes. And I thought, you don't hear a lot of women talk about crazy stories when it comes to their boyfriends and men. And I wondered why. And he said, and that's right. And he said, that's when I realized, oh, that's right. It's because a man will fucking kill you. They'll get violent. And that's exactly the case. I think this is more of an issue when it comes to men, because get pissed if you want, but I'm gonna just bring the facts, is that men typically are going to be stronger than women by nature. Men can overpower women. That's why when men get manipulative with overstepping their will and boundaries, there's a level of creepiness that I think is more prominent than with women, because a man physically can overpower you and kill you, and it does happen sometimes. This isn't to say that women can't overpower men. This isn't to say women can't be strong, but by nature, by science, by physiologically, we physically tend to be the weaker sex in that regard. Doesn't mean it has to be that way. Doesn't mean some women are different, built different, or they train differently. It just typically what is. Don't get mad at me, get mad at science. It's almost like somebody getting mad and thinking that I'm being like, what would be the word? Misogynistic? Or like I'd be, what would even be the word for that? Like they would think I'm being prejudiced for saying men can't have babies. It's like, no, it's science. Now I'm sure there might be somebody born with a couple different parts, maybe male and female, that can reproduce. You know, there's certain circumstances. Y'all get where I'm coming from, right? Or like if somebody transitions who is a woman to a man, but then they want to carry a baby and keep all the same organs. There's always circumstances for shit. You know, I give 10,000 disclaimers, and damn it, people are gonna take this every which way they want to. It's always what happens with these videos, and then they go, you might have to turn it on. But it's like, well, if you guys weren't jackasses, and not all y'all, like I said before, just my select few that help keep me, as they say, you wanna be relevant. I'm like, I don't really care to be relevant, I'm just trying to pay my bills, but you sure are helping me get there. So thank you, crazies, in the comments. Okay, lots and lots of digressing. They get pissed off when I say I digress too. So I digress. Okay, so this video, this clip, I love this clip, and it's because I've had this happen to me a few different times. There's one in particular I remember that has really stuck out. If I remember any more stories, I'll tell you. But I also want to tell you a story of a woman doing it, just so you guys know I'm not trying to be biased. I know women do this sort of thing. There's a woman that used to be a good friend of mine when we were younger. I'm not going to say her name. You guys have heard me talk about her. She is like to spread lies about my taxes, which is really funny. You know, it could be a man, duh. But I had this former friend, and she, I don't know what she does now, I don't really care, but she used to do this thing, it's gonna be similar along lines of what I'm talking about, what Dr. Drew's talking about, where she would befriend and get really close to gay men and fall in love with them. This happened several times. Fall in love with them, move in with them, be best friends with them, but then be secretly wanting more, but not express it. But then kind of put herself and them in these weird, awkward situations as a result, and would just drive herself crazy and would just devastate herself. And I remember trying to like talk with her and be real about it, and I'd be like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? It was like she was had this fantasy where she was waiting for them to wake up one day and realize they were in love with her too and they could be together. But because they're gay, she had this like, there was some barrier there where it's like, can't it get too close and not hurt me? It was really fucking weird. So again, women kind of do this behavior too. And what made me frustrated with her, I was like, but you're not telling them how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my frustration with her, where it was just like, you're in a sense, you're lying to them. Because you're acting like there's a friendship when you actually want more. Getting close with them, getting an apartment, putting your name on shit with them, but you're assuming and wanting more than what they can give you and causing friction as a result. So again, it's not just men, it's women, but it's scarier with men because men can get fucking crazy. I mean, women can get crazy, but men can fucking kill you. Women can try to kill you too. I'm not saying they can't. All right, so I wanted to talk about this because now I want to say this. Obviously, this isn't happening now, because I am much different than I was a couple years ago. I'm big, I'm fat. In our mainstream society, not a lot of men are attracted to that, and furthermore, I am not in the market to look. I am happy with roommate, as well as I wouldn't want to date anybody right now for many reasons. But this used to happen to me, especially in my younger years, because I got smarter to it. It happened to me a lot more in my younger years. Now y'all know me. You know I'm a direct bitch. I am direct almost to a fault. I am like this with almost everybody. Now, the things I've learned about myself are when I get close to people, I can get, like, at men specifically, I can get a little more passive. Like if I have a boyfriend, I can be a little more passive. I think that's just nature and biology of women. But some of that is just fear of commitment or fear of them leaving, neglect, that sort of thing. But when I realize I'm doing it, I snap myself out of it when I see there's an issue and I get direct. So typically what y'all see is what you get. I'm very, very direct with people because like most women my age are like, we don't have time for this bullshit. Shit, even younger girls feel this way. Younger people even feel this way. It's just when you're younger, people are still trying to figure themselves out. So you're gonna encounter a lot more assholes because y'all think you have all the time in the world. And you do for a while. You have plenty of time. When you get to be my age, you've just been through so much shit, it's just like, ugh, I'm over it, you know? You want people to be real with you. So, where am I going with all this? Okay, I've had many situations happen in my past where I was friends with a guy, and the guy ended up liking me. The guy ended up wanting more. The guy did not express it, or they thought they were expressing it by leaving hints and shit. I'm not a hinty bitch. You tell me directly what the fuck is going on. Otherwise, nothing is going on in my opinion. And they would want more, form a friendship, get close to me, and then when they didn't get what they wanted, they would act out and act crazy. Fildo the Wizard. Oh my God, it just occurred to me. That was a perfect example, Fildo the Wizard. I'll give you another one though, because y'all know the Fildo story. Okay, so there was a guy that I was friends with, I had met through work. Nice guy. It's funny enough, I was with somebody, my boyfriend at the time, friends with them. Like they were talking about doing some business together. This is many, many years ago. And this guy was a musician, and I'm a singer. And he was a really great songwriter. And so we were gonna work on music together, and we worked on some stuff I still really like to this day. And we were friends. We were friends for about eight months. Was it? No, it was like a year. We were friends for like a year. But in the time of knowing him and being friends with him in that time, about like 8 months in, he started getting really weird. So he started to call me at kind of weird hours and stuff. And I didn't really think much about it at the time. It's only when I looked back later. And he just kind of got weirder and weirder with me, just slowly, little things. And I just kind of blew them off. You know, I'm very direct, you know, and it's just, I have a boyfriend, I'm not into you. I'm not attracted. You are an attractive person. I'm not attracted to you. I don't want to date you. I'm very direct with people. So he knows that, right? So I remember like because we were working on music together, we hung out like maybe once-ish a week. You know, we talked and we saw each other at work and, you know, things were fine. But a friend of mine, I'd made some friends in a band and they were playing like 45 minutes away. And I invited him to go with me. I'm like, hey, do you want to go see my friends with the band? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, sure. I'm like, okay. So we go, we're going up there and everything's fine. Everything's good. We get there, see my friends in the band, like we're having fun. They're playing their show and things are good. Like, it's just, we had fun. That's it. We had fun. He had a couple drinks, but otherwise we were having fun. He had drove in his car. So what happened was, on the way back from this, I'm almost falling asleep because I'm really tired. It's really late. All of a sudden, I feel a fucking hand on my knee. I know, right? So now to him, I look like I'm fully asleep. Like I'm like half asleep and I feel this hand on my knee. And I get kind of freaked out and I'm thinking maybe he's reaching for something. So I kind of push his hand away. He then takes my hand with his hand, holds it and puts it on his knee. So he's holding my hand with his hand on his knee and I'm going, ah, ah. So I take my hand, right? And I put it back. He then, one more time, this is within like a minute succession, right? He then puts his hand back on my knee and starts going up my thigh. And I wake up, I throw his hand off and I said, what are you doing? And he goes, I thought you were asleep. And I said, I don't care what you thought. What are you doing? And he's like, well, I guess I got confused. And I was like, yeah, don't fucking touch me. Because again, we were friends. I didn't understand what was going on. I knew I was getting real. I'm like, something's not right. My warning bells are going off, right? So anyways, we go, so drives me home. Everything's fine. The next day, I get this really long email about how I need to choose between him or my boyfriend and and all these things I need to do in my relationship, which is none of his fucking business, right? And just going on, and I mean, I don't even remember. I remember reading this going, this is fucking crazy. What? So I pick up the phone, I call him, I'm like, what the fuck is this? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, this email I'm reading, what is this? Well, I just think that you need to choose. And I said, choose what? Between me or him? And I'm like, where did you think there was an option? Where did you think there was a choice? And he's like, well, you know, we wouldn't hung out and we held hands. And I said, no! I mean, I was so livid, I was yelling at him. I said, no, motherfucker. What are you talking about? You held my hand. What are you doing? He's like, well, I guess I got confused. I said, what is there to be confused about? Well, you wanted me to go to the concert with you. I'm like, yeah, and? Well, I mean, I thought, I guess somewhere in my mind I thought maybe it's a date. And I said, what on earth made you think it's a date? What? Well, you know, we hang out a lot, and, well, I write music with you, and, well, I like you, and, well, I guess it's just time for you to choose. And I felt like I was talking to a brick wall. I was like, there's never been a choice. You were never a choice for me. Now, it would be one thing, and I might do a video about this. I think I will, at some point. It would be one thing if I'm like stringing this guy along, leading him on to think other things. Y'all, I'm very fucking direct. And I'm also big on, I tell people, I'm like, look, if there's something wrong or you're getting confused or whatever, talk to me. I'm so fucking big on communication when it comes to the people around me. I'm like, talk to me. What is going on? So when I got down to it, what happened was, because he started to like me and was attracted to me, he was thinking, and he thought he was seeing issues in my relationship, that at some point I was gonna leave the guy I was with and then just magically have feelings for him and we were gonna whisk ourselves off in the sunset. And therefore, he felt it was okay to not only assume that we were starting a relationship that wasn't ever happening, but that he could physically start touching me in a way that's romantic and inappropriate without A, asking me, and B, me being asleep. How creepy is that? You start touching on me when I'm asleep and I'm in your car and I can't get out? Ew. Since then, I have a hard time, and there's been other experiences too, but since then, I tend to like to drive myself someplace. I It's my car, be in control of the car, because I've had some weird experiences like that. And like I said, I could understand if I was leading them on and stuff, but, and here's the other thing. I also can have a bit of a flirty personality. It's not like, and I wouldn't even say flirty, it's just I'm really open and really loving. Like, you guys have gotten a very different side of me on YouTube because I don't feel very flirty because of my size situation. It is, like, it's not something I like. This is not, I don't like being this heavy, but it is what it is right now, and that's fine. But, you know, as a result, I haven't really felt like myself, so I'm not as, like, open and loving because of all the stuff going on with me, and just kind of the navigating being this size and not really liking it. You know, that part of me doesn't come out as much. I think it did more when I first started my channel, but then as well, that's the other thing, you have to be careful with people because it's like, people can misconstrue that. But the thing is, this is the big thing I want to really emphasize. I've always been a communicator. I will tell you what's going on. And if there are any changes, I will tell you, point blank. I'm not that person that's gonna catch feelings and then go, well, I can't say it to the other person because maybe they won't feel that way. But I ain't that person. If I'm a friend with you and I start to catch feelings where I feel like it becomes an issue, I'll sit you down and tell you, look, I don't want to make things weird. Here's where it's at. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if you feel the same, depending on the situation. Like, you know, if they have a girlfriend or boyfriend, typically if I catch feelings for somebody or I start to have an attraction to somebody that has a significant other, I squash it. I kill it off in myself out of respect. You know, I don't entertain that at all. But, you know, I'll talk to you about it. And I'll be like, hey, if this is a one-sided thing, tell me. Let me figure out what this is. Give me a few days. I'll come back down to friends. Like, I am that fucking direct and honest. And I'll tell you, people like it. Men actually appreciate it when you are direct because women are just, oh my God, these games. Okay, where's my phone? Okay, I'm gonna tell you this game that I really hate. Like, this is how women, I've seen this happen repeatedly. This is how they flirt. They'll be at the bar and they'll have their phone and they'll do this. Look away. I'm gonna look at you enough where you can tell and you can feel I'm looking in your direction, but then as soon as you look at me, I'll only make about 0.3 seconds of eye contact and then I look away. I don't have time. I don't have time for that bullshit. I don't play games. In fact, and I've done this before, I've made great male friends doing this. I am a person where if I feel drawn to you for some reason, I will come right up to you face to face and tell you. I'll be like, hey, I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's an attraction or I'm just drawn to who you are for some reason. I would like to talk to you. I'm not sure why, because I don't know you, you don't know me. If you would like to, here's my number. You are more than welcome to call me. If not, it was fun getting to talk to you for a second. And you know how many men fucking love that? Absolutely love it, because there's no games. There's none of this female bullshit. There's none of this I'm scared of rejection. I don't fucking care. Maybe I've just, as a performer or the way I grew up, I've had enough rejection in my life. I just don't care. But my point in saying that is that I am so direct. There should be zero confusion about where I stand. So it really bothers me when I see men do this thing. And I think this is what happened. I think he was attracted to me. I think he liked me. I think he assumed a relationship at some point, even if I wasn't okay with it, and decided to overstep my physical boundaries. And I'm big on this too. Not all women are this way, but I tell people up front, like if I'm dating you, if you're gonna touch me in any capacity, please ask me first. Not everybody's like that, that's fine. That's how I am for many, many reasons of things I've gone through. So if you wanna hold my hand, just say, hey, I'm having a hankering to hold your hand. Is it okay if I do that? And I'll tell you yes or no, and I'll be very detailed. It's simple. And I think that's the best, me personally, I think when you do it that way, that leaves no room for issues. It's just straight communication. Sometimes it's a lot for people to take for some people because they're not used to it, but I would rather operate that way. I've always been that way. Like, I would rather just like, let's just fucking be honest and be real, even if it's uncomfortable, because it's better to do that than to hold all these feelings, be scared of rejection, and then you create a story in your mind about somebody and assume things about them, and maybe you and them that don't exist. And I've seen a lot of men do this, and then men complain, oh, I've been friend zoned. And it's just like, I don't know. Here's my thought. If you're attracted to somebody, typically the attraction will still be there. Does that make sense? So here's how I operate. Like, I had a friend I met, beautiful man. I still to this day, we don't talk, but I love him to pieces. When we met, and I found this out later, we both found each other very attractive, but we were both with significant others. And you know what happened? We squashed that. Any attraction, we killed it off. Now we became great friends. Now, in the future, at some point, those feelings between us, first of all, our significant others got the pictures, and then the feelings between us shifted back. It just happened one day, and we'd been friends for a long time. And you know what happened? We eventually, it took like, I think a month or so, but it wasn't, when I say that, we had only talked like a couple times since the feelings had shifted between the two of us. It happened at the same time for us. And we had a couple other conversations, and it was like a month later when we sat down and he said, hey, I broke up with my long-term significant other, and we were talking about life, and we started talking about how, hey, something shifted. So what I want to say is, this is my opinion. This is just what I've seen in relationships. And a man says, oh, this girl, she's friend zoned me. Well, here's the thing. If there's an attraction there on some level, even if out of respect for the significant other, whatever's going on, you kill it off or you ignore those feelings or whatever. Like, some people have a hard time doing that. If I have feelings for you, I can shut it down if I need to. There's only maybe a couple people I have a hard time doing that with. But I'm open about it. You talk, you communicate, that's what it is. So if the feelings are there at some point, they can be there again. So I love that. I've been friend zoned. It's like, or maybe it's just that she doesn't want that from you. Maybe she just doesn't want that from you. It's not that she just put you in a friend zone and it's just, but I've seen so many men do this. They like a girl, and instead of, it's very manipulative in my opinion. It's like, instead of understanding that the girl, now it's one thing if the girl doesn't communicate, right? Or isn't direct. But like if she has a boyfriend, especially if she has a boyfriend, and guys do this thing where it's like, well, I'll wait around in case something happens with a boyfriend, and then maybe she'll like me if something bad happens. Well, that's really disrespectful to the significant other, number one. Very, very disrespectful. And number two, like that, again, that's assuming a lot. If you really like this girl, why are you waiting for the demise of her relationship? Don't you want her to be happy? Granted, maybe she's in a bad relationship. There could be other I'm not saying there aren't extenuating circumstances. There's always extenuating circumstances, but I mean, as a whole. Like, it seems, again, very manipulative and very stalkerish, where it's like, well, I'm going to allow myself to be friends with her for the thought that maybe in the coming weeks, months, or years, I will be able to hit that. I'll be able to get some poon. Well, then that's a disingenuous friendship. You should want to be friends with her because you genuinely enjoy the friendship, not because you're waiting for this something else to happen. Because then it's just, again, you are being manipulative. It's like what Dr. Drew said. And then it's like, well, it's time like my friend did. Well, it's time you choose. It's my time now. And it's like, it was never your time. Like, what are you talking about? Makes no sense. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this for a while, and I have other stories I could bring up. Like, okay, another one. I'm gonna make sure. Battery good? Yes, battery's good, and looks like the card is good. Okay, another one we'll bring up. I don't really like talking about him. Let's bring up Phildo the Wizard. Holy shit. This motherfucker, I realize now, had a lot of feelings for me. I didn't realize it. It's weird because he did a back and forth where he kept stuff very hidden. He put on airs, and we've seen this with Phildo. He thinks he's a fucking wizard. He puts on these airs with people, right? But it was only because I had so many people talking about this going, this motherfucker acts like he's an ex and he's in love with you. I'm like, I know he does, it's fucking creepy. But he made up this whole story about, we'd only met each other once. Out of the 10-ish years we knew each other on and off when it came to being like just an online friendship. He made up this whole story. Remember Amanda, it's funny enough, Amanda, that girl, came to visit me at the same time, former childhood friend. he makes up the story that he's faking being asleep, and me and Amanda are talking about him and how much I like him and that I want to do X, Y, and Z to him. And it was just like, no. First of all, anybody that knows me knows when it comes to like sex and stuff like that, I'm incredibly shy. Absolutely not. Like, he just made up this story. And what I think happens is that he assumed that one day it would turn into something else. And that's why we were friends for as long as we were, on and off, because he was assuming. And there were warning signs everywhere. I just didn't pick up on it, which is stupid of me. But at the same time, it's different because we mostly had an online friendship. It was online, and sometimes we did phone calls. You're not gonna get the body language to pick up on everything. It can be very difficult. That's why, like, online relationships and shit are really, really tricky, because the body language is such a huge indicator in how somebody is in front of you in person, and you don't always get that. But it was only when I looked at our Facebook messages and reread them back. I remember I was looking at all those stories about like him being a fucking wizard and laughing, that I missed the signs. Like, there was times where I'd be this direct. I would be like, I'd make a joke, I'd make some kind of joke, either a sexual joke or something, thinking we're friends, and then I would say something like, I would start to outline, I'd be like, but I know, you know, we're just friends, we're strictly friends, nothing's gonna happen, we're just good friends, and he would go, I know, ... heavy sigh, I know, ... There were just certain things where I'm like, holy shit, this is his pussy passive-aggressive way of trying to tell me that he has all these feelings for me. And it also made sense, because I remember when I was having a hard time in Kansas City. Now, his version, which is amazing, and I have all the receipts, his version is that I never told him I was going through bankruptcy. I guess I was supposed to tell him I was going through less than $10,000 in medical debt bankruptcy. That's what it was. And like a couple store cards for like under 200 bucks. That I was trying to get him to be like a sugar daddy and go move in with him. The truth was, he would say, Kansas City's got a death energy. You know, everything has a different energy to it, and I've been several places, and Kansas City's not a place for growth for people. It's a death energy. It's an energy that's very trapping, and you're gonna deteriorate. If you stay there, you're probably gonna die, and it's gonna get worse. Hey, you need to come to Nashville. You wanna be a musician, that's where everything's at. In Nashville, where he's at. And hey, you could come stay with me. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to I'll talk to my, and then he would start making these plans about me coming to stay with him. And you know the funny thing? Never happened. I would even say, hey, maybe I'll come visit for a weekend. I even at one point, I had a business trip. I was there for 5 days. And I had my own well, wasn't company car, but I had a rental car was there. I could have went to see him. I didn't. Like, he assumed all of these things that weren't real. It wasn't based in reality. It was weird. It was very, very weird. So I wanted to bring these things up because I wanted to talk about this. I've just had several people and several men at different times in my life do this sort of thing. Don't be this person. Don't. It is by far better to grow some balls and talk to people and get rejected. It is far better to get rejected than to live a lie and assume more of a person, lie to that person and act like you're in a friendship that you don't really want, and then one day maybe possibly inflict your will on that person or get mad at them that they're not following your fantasy that you've created because you can't communicate and you're scared of rejection. That's what I wanted to say. It's very frustrating. And funny enough, Dr. Drew was talking about how, you know, some of the stuff can be even more prominent with millennials and this, that, and the other. I did want to say something else to that. He talked about millennials having all these quick, kind of fast relationships and this, that, and the other. And I want to say, like, what he's talking about in regards to the stalker thing, it happens to people my age. It happens to people who are older than me. I have friends who go through it, who are in their, like, 40s and 50s. This is something that, it's almost like it's acceptable for men to just chase and chase and chase the woman, even if she doesn't want it, to where it almost feels, like I said, it becomes predatory almost. It can become very, very predatory, and it's very, very creepy. It is far better to get rejected, male or female, both fucking sides. And if you're a woman that does this shit, stop it. Everybody needs to realize that regardless of what your issues are, there is a part of you that is beautiful and wonderful and unique because you exist. And that makes you fucking beautiful and have the ability to love and be connected to love in all of us. And as a result, if you meet somebody that you have feelings for and the feelings don't match, it just means it wasn't for you. And that is okay. It's okay. We don't have to do all these manipulative tactics, hanging on to something that probably would never work, hoping that it will, because we don't have the courage to really say what we feel, or we don't have the courage to think there's something else. And funny enough, that's something that I'm a little bit going through right now in my life when it comes to people and friendships and relationships, is like, you know, like for instance, like with roommate, if things end with roommate, is there anything else out there for me? And it's not that I think that there's not. And I would never get manipulative. I would never be manipulative as a result of that. But, you know, I wonder if I'm ever going to find somebody that, like if something happened with roommate, and it possibly could, because we know between the two of us what this is, you know? Would I ever find somebody who I have a really deep connection with, but that all of our baggage lines up? And you know what? I'd become at peace with that answer. Maybe no, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I mean, it sucks. There's a part of it that kind of sucks, and I don't like it. I'm not saying I like it, but I'm at peace with that, because I would rather be around the right people who are right for me and right for my path in life than live a lie for myself and other people. I'm not going to do that to myself, and I'm not going to do that to other people. And I hope maybe as a society with men, you know, and again, I know not all men do this, so don't think I'm saying all men. These are just a sect of turds. If you aren't a turd, you don't have this issue, great. I ain't talking about you. I love that. I will say something, like I've done this before, where I've made fun of crazy Christians. And I've said, hey, if you aren't a crazy Christian, if you don't act like this, then guess what? You don't need to be offended. I'm not talking about you. And I'll have people that are like, well, I'm a Christian, but I'm offended. And I'm like, do you act this way? Well, no. Then I'm not talking about you. And that happens so often. But I've learned people are going to get mad no matter what I do. People are going to get mad just because I've opened my mouth and talked. That's it. And that's fine. People can do what they want. I'm just going to keep making content for those people that enjoy it, and those people that maybe understand or feel the same way, or, you know, maybe like to have my perspective on things. Not that I'm saying my perspective is amazing or great, but, you know, maybe people who enjoy hearing what I have to say. And I appreciate that. Let me just double check. Are we good on the battery? Are we good on everything? Okay, because it did just shut off for a second. So, yeah. I also want to say, I think millennials, I think, have it, and the younger generations, God, they're gonna have a hard time socially. They already are. That's the part, and I've talked about this before. Since birth, they were born with a device shoved up their ass. They literally were connected to social media at birth. Like literally, their births, they're some of the first generation, their births were put on social media. It's not even a joke. And as a result, it's like all of those, it's like he said, a lot of these awkward growing pain moments that you're supposed to go through are being missed out on. Those are very formidable years. And instead of having to deal with anything awkward or painful or learn how to socialize, you can always distract yourself with a device. I can't tell you how many young people I've talked to, teenagers, people in their 20s, who were beyond frustrated because they're like, it's like I can't have a real relationship. We have a relationship that started over text, and it's all been mostly text, aside from when we get together, and it's Netflix and chill. And there's no connections that are being made. That's why, as weird as this sounds, like, I've said this before, and I'm like, if you're looking for a real guy in a real relationship, you know the best place you could try to find somebody? A church gathering. A church gathering for singles. I'm not even kidding, because you might meet people who are kind of more serious about like a commitment. You know what I mean? Granted, I'm not a religious person, but if you found some sort of spiritual group or religion that works for you, fucking great. But that's hard. That is very difficult to feel like you can't ever really have formidable relationships, on top of the fact that we have not taught our men how to be men, and we have not taught our women how to be women, but we have very much not taught our men how to be men. So it's like through all this texting and shit, they get to get away with all kinds of one-night stands, and they get to get away with absolute fucking murder. And it's like we are, see, this is what pisses me off about the feminist movement. The feminists, I call it the Sex and the City curse. I'll do a video about this at some point. It's like the feminists came in and said, well, if men can sleep around, we want to sleep around like men can. The problem is, the majority of women are not designed that way physiologically and biologically, chemically. We are not designed to do that. We are designed when we have sex to attach to men. That's part of procreation, of pregnancy, of all of that sort of shit. Don't get mad at me, it's science. I can't tell you how many women and friends I grew up with who tried to do that sleep around thing, and it made them fucking crazy. It made them nuts about their relationships and the guy, because deep down they always wanted more, but convinced themselves they didn't, so they could continue this whatever thing, but then felt disrespected about it. And I think as a result, it okayed that behavior in men, because let's be women and try to match it. Free sex for everybody, y'all. But women don't really work that way, so what it did was it took away men having to respect women. When? Respect? When? But it's true. And not all men, but a lot of I feel like the cultural mindset has become like that, and all of these dating apps, this Tindering or whatever, this swipe left and all this texting and shit, it leaves it wide fucking open for men to just be manipulative, hit it and quit it, and get away with murder without ever having to communicate anything. So I really feel for our generation that's just chock full of all this fucking technology they don't want, you know? So, yeah, just let's fucking talk to each other, face to face, have conversations, be open. Like, if you're looking for a one-night stand, fucking just tell a woman. Don't act fucking predatory and act like you want a relationship, hit it and quit it and leave. You could fuck that woman's life up. You could fuck her health up. That's the thing. Men don't think about that. Every time you have sex, you could literally be killing a woman. You could fuck up her health indefinitely. We always think, I've said this before, I'll say it again, little diatribe. We always think of sex as like, we always think of sex as just this thing where it's like, oh, pregnancy could suck because then I gotta take care of something. We don't, like, you know what I mean? We think about it as like the burden of pregnancy that you don't want. We don't think about this could fuck up your health for life. That in the United States, it's becoming more and more of a like, what is it? The mortality rate of women that give birth is on the rise. Like, we don't think that it could fuck up your body permanently. It could fuck up your health permanently. You can die. If you have physical issues or you're immunocompromised or all kinds of stuff, you can have a child and you can die. And we don't ever talk about it that way. And I feel like, though, we need to instill that in our men so they respect the act that you could be killing this woman. So you better think, is you hitting it and quitting it worth her dying? What if you have a sick kid? Is it worth that child dying? What if you do that, you don't have the money for that? You know what I'm saying? Shit we don't think about in society. Bottom line, don't be fucking creepy, any of y'all. Nobody be creepy. Okay, I think this video is way too long. I wonder if it's gonna get demonetized. I hope it's not. Fingers crossed, we shall see. Anyway, this has been JoySparkleBS. Continue to be blessing to yourselves and blessing to others. I got an itch. Ow. Continue to try to find the joy, the sparkles, and the bullshit in the world. JoySparkleBS is my secondary channel. Go subscribe, because this one may be deleted at any time. We shall see. Not on my doing, but it might be. I'm JoySparkleBS on Younow. I have just signed up with Stream.me. So go find me on Stream.me. I have a link. If you guys haven't, I'm JoySparkleBS on Stream.me. I might start trying to stream there more often. So please, JoySparkleBS on Stream.me. Go check that out. Y'all know I'm on Twitter, JoySparkleBS. I'm not real active on there though. I'm on Bitchute, JoySparkleBS. If you like the video, maybe you can give it a thumbs up. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. Everything helps. Everything helps in the algorithm. I appreciate it. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. Oh my God, you're not going to see my shit anyways. What do? Typically between 1 and 2 p.m. I upload. I've been slacking a little bit. There's no reason to whisper. Like I'm trying to keep it for myself for you guys. That's it. I think I'm done. I love you guys. Thanks for sticking with me in this video. Let me know what you think. I can always do more streams of consciousness like this. But yeah, relationships, people, humans, Earth. Okay, bye guys.